She entered the world in the late 15th century, in a quiet river town in northern Italy where the air smelled of grapes, whetstone, and church incense. Her mother died giving birth to her, and her father, a glassmaker, raised her alone, teaching her to see beauty in fragile things. From childhood, she had a strange gravity to her. People looked at her longer than they meant to, felt calmer when she spoke, as if her voice pulled them into still water. She learned early how to read faces, how to soften anger, how to turn attention into devotion. By the time she was 16, she was already dangerous without knowing it. Verona, left with nothing, traveled south toward Verona, the city whose name she would later take for her own, where nobles still had money and beauty could be sold for survival. There, she became a companion to a minor countess, then a favorite in salons and candlelit rooms. Men fell in love with her with a speed that frightened them. Women admired her and whispered about her, but she never loved any of them. She was always waiting for something she could not name. Dracula found her first, not the other way around. He arrived in Italy under the name of a foreign prince, pale, aristocratic, and impossibly still, as if the world moved around him instead of with him. He saw Verona at a mass gathering, laughing gently as a drunken poet tried to kiss her hand. Dracula watched her with the eyes of a predator who had just found a creature that did not yet know it was prey. Not because she was weak, but because she was exquisite. They spoke only once that night. He asked her if she feared death. She said she feared insignificance more. That answer stayed with him for weeks after. He followed her unseen. He listened to her dreams, her confessions to lovers, her prayers when she thought no one was listening. He learned that she wanted more than life could offer. Not just love, but eternity. Not just beauty, but to never be abandoned again. When he finally came to her openly, he did not seduce her with lies. He told her the truth, that he was not human, that time had no claim on him, and that he could give her the same terrible, endless existence. She did not run. The night she became a vampire, she was 22. Dracula took her into an abandoned villa near the river. He did not tear into her like he did his enemies. He kissed her first, slow and reverent, then let his fangs sink into her throat. She felt fire, drowning, ecstasy, and grief all at once as her life drained away. Then he gave her his blood. It burned even worse. She died in his arms, eyes open, heart silent, and then she whooped out the world was too loud, too bright, too alive. Every heartbeat around her sounded like a drum. She screamed, not in fear, but in hunger. Her first victim was a servant who came running. She drank him dry without even realizing she was killing him. When she pulled away, his body collapsed, gray and empty, and Verona finally understood what she had become. Dracula was pleased. In the decades that followed, Verona became one of the most beautiful and most feared creatures in Europe. She was not a mindless predator. She was a lover. She seduced her victims before she fed on them. She made them feel chosen, adored, desired beyond reason. Many of her lovers died smiling, believing they were being loved in their final moments. Some begged her to turn them, but she rarely did. Eternity, she learned, was a curse best given sparingly. Among her lovers were princes, poets, soldiers, and even priests. The Spanish Duke left his wife for her and disappeared within a month. A French composer wrote his final masterpiece for her before she trained him at the piano. A young nun followed her into the night and never returned. Each death made Verona stronger, more radiant, more center. Their relationship was not tender, it was violent, passionate, and possessive. He did not treat her as an equal. He treated her as something he owned, something precious and dangerous. Verona, who had once feared abandonment more than death, slowly realized that immortality with Dracula meant eternal captivity. Still, she loved him, not in a gentle way, but in a burning, destructive way, like loving a storm. Over centuries, she tried to leave him many times. Each time, he found her. Sometimes he punished her by killing her lovers. Sometimes he locked her away in his castle for years. Yet he never destroyed her. She was his bride in a way no other ever was, not because she was obedient, but because she was unforgettable. Her cruelty grew. By the 18th century, whole villages whispered her name like a curse. Children were warned that Verona would come for the beautiful and the lonely. She no longer fed only out of hunger, but out of boredom, out of spite, out of a need to feel something real. She took lovers just to watch them break. Eventually, she fell in love for real. A mortal man, gentle, ordinary, and completely unlike Dracula. With him, she tried to pretend she was still here. She did not drink from him. She slept beside him without killing him. For the first time in centuries, she imagined a life that did not belong to Dracula. He found them. Dracula killed the man in front of her, slowly, making sure Verona felt every second of it. Something inside her finally shattered. She attacked Dracula, not to escape but to destroy him. The fight lasted hours. Castle walls broke. Blood filled the halls. But she could not kill him. Wounded and broken, Verona fled into the sunlight for the first time in her own life, choosing pain over submission. The sun did not kill her immediately. It burned her, tore her apart, and left her barely alive, crawling into the shadows of a ruined church. That was where she died, not in Dracula's arms, but alone, half ash, half flesh. As the sun rose higher, her last thoughts were not of him, but of the girl she once was, the glassmaker's daughter who had wanted to matter. And in that moment, she finally did. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tales. From the shadows, we'll see you in the next one.